oh, my baby is big, now what? I'm worried about tearing, I'm worried about the baby getting stuck, having a C-section, they're talking about being induced, and I don't know what to do. If this sounds like you, then keep watching this video and let's talk about this, okay? This is why birth preparation and feeling educated about birth and your pelvis and your pelvic floor it's why it matters. It's why this is so important, okay? One of the things you need to know is your pelvis is mobile. It moves. It's not stuck in one position. So you can create more space through the top of your pelvis. You can create more space at the midpoint of your pelvis, and you create more space at the outlet. Your tailbone also moves out of the way, so that way your baby can have a smoother birth experience and not get stuck. This is important because with the right birth preparation and the right education and help throughout your pregnancy, you can give birth to a big baby, and you can have a birth with no tearing. You can have birth with minimal tearing. You can go through without being induced. This isn't me telling you don't get induced, don't have a C-section, don't do this, don't do that. This is me just giving you some information about how you can have a birth to a large baby. I have helped moms give birth to babies 9, 10, and 11 pounds, all with no tearing. And one of the mamas had shoulder dystocia with her first baby, and with her second 11-pound baby, she had 0 tearing, okay? Everybody's different, every body is different, but you having a little more education and understanding can help you make a decision that feels right for you. And then you can advocate for yourself, and you can ask those questions that are really important to be able to ask to know what is going to be right for you and safest for you and your baby, okay? Being told your pelvis is too small, again, not a thing. Did you know they can't diagnose you with CPD, which is your pelvis being too small, unless you are 10 centimeters dilated, full-blown labor, and 2 providers have to be able to confirm this. So if they did an x-ray and you weren't even pregnant or whatever the situation may be, they can't tell you that your pelvis is too small. It's just a myth, okay? Less than 5% of people actually have CPD or a pelvis that truly is too small to give birth to babies, okay? So knowing how your pelvis moves is so important. This is great, okay? Moving during your birth is really important. So often you end up getting induced, or you end up getting whatever, maybe like especially inductions, you'd like, I need an epidural. As someone who's gone through an induction, it's completely different than going through labor naturally. And I opted for the epidural because it was a lot to take in, and the contractions were happening like they would right before you give birth, and I was at 4 centimeters dilated. So I get it, okay? But then you're confined to a bed, and it makes it hard to move, and you don't know how to move or what to do to move or any of that. You're like laying there thinking, I have to move, but what does that mean? What am I supposed to do? So if you end up having an epidural, or you don't, doesn't matter, but if you're confined to a bed or you're in bed, some ways that you can move are get a ball in your bed. You can change your different positions. You can be on your hands and knees. You can be in like this position. Your belly's down here and you're relaxing on the ball here. You can have a little bit of a smaller ball, so it's more over at the top and a little more comfortable. They have different sizes. You can have a peanut ball laying on your side. The bed manipulates in different positions, so that way you can change a position with just changing the bed. There's a bar, like a squat bar that goes there, and you can drop your feet down and have your butt up a little higher, so you're sitting in a squat holding the bar. There's so many endless possibilities, and I go through all of these within the Ultimate Momma Bundle, and we're having labor coaching take place in May of 2026 that you can join. The link's down below. But that's some things that you can do. It's just movement during labor. And you're like, I had an epidural. How am I supposed to be able to move? I don't understand. So some ways that you can move are partner support, your doula, or your labor nurse. They can all help you move if you feel like you can't move, if your legs are like so numb that you can't move. A lot of people have a lower dose epidural, so you're able to still move your legs, you just don't feel as much. So that's another possibility. That's something else we talk about, is the dosage of epidurals and how it affects your labor and your birth and what you feel and how to be able to push through this, which leads me to knowing when to push and how to push, so that way you're not having your baby get stuck. You're not pushing for hours. You're not putting so much strain and stress on your pelvic floor that you do tear, okay? Your pelvic floor doesn't push your baby out. Your pelvic floor has to relax and move out of the way for your baby to come through. And in order for this to happen, we have to make sure that our pelvic floor can relax throughout labor preparation. We're gonna talk about labor prep in just a minute. When it comes to pushing, you don't want to hold your breath and bear down and count to 10 like they teach you. You're not getting oxygen, your baby's not getting oxygen. It's exhausting, and you're going to be pushing for so much longer because it's not as effective. And it's, like I said, it is exhausting. And so knowing how to push by breathing, allowing your body to relax, allowing your body to kind of do the pressure, the pushing on its own, utilizing gravity to help get baby down through the canal and into a better position, moving to continue to get baby to go. Like the more movement you do, the more they're gonna come through that pelvis, okay? Knowing when to push. 10 centimeters is not the magic number. Just because you're 10 centimeters dilated does not mean baby's ready to be pushed. You're not ready to push for baby, okay? It does not necessarily mean that. That's what also leads to moms pushing for so long, is your baby's not ready or in a good position for you to be able to start pushing. So this is something else. This is why birth plans are so important. It's not like this is our birth plan and this is how it's gonna go. These are the things I wanna be able to do and why, and if this happens, this is what I wanna do. It's kind of a plan for if things don't go the way they are supposed to, or you anticipate them, you know what you want to be able to have happen, and you've talked about that before you're in the midst of labor and birth. So birth preparation, right? This is the most important part if you are preparing to give birth to a large baby. I want to add, ultrasounds and measurements can be off by 1 to 2 pounds. I had a mama opt for a C-section, pushed into a C-section nonetheless, because they were telling her baby was 11 pounds. This is like the most extreme case I've ever heard. They told her her baby was 11 pounds. Her baby came out like, I think it was 7 pounds, 2 ounces. I'm not kidding. So they can be off. Let's say they're not off and you are having a larger baby. You can still do this if it's what you want and if you prepare your body the correct way. This is what I mean. Not just like bouncing on a ball and like doing all the like things that you can do to get baby out and to be moving. We want to make sure that there's a purpose behind everything you do throughout your labor preparation. Why are you doing that? What is the point of that? Bouncing on a ball may feel good, but it's not productive. It's not actually doing anything for you. So I wouldn't necessarily encourage it. If it feels good, fine, okay? But I would encourage you to instead do some hip circles, okay? This is allowing pelvis mobility. We're working on just everything being able to relax throughout your body, doing the other direction, doing some pelvic tilts. We want to create space and movement so that there's room for your baby to come down. Simply just sitting on a ball can put your baby into a better position, because your pelvis is in a neutral position, your core is upright, you're not having as much pain and stress throughout your hip flexors and round ligament. So it's encouraging your baby to sit in a better position. Just because they're head down does not mean that they're in a good position. You want them to be head down and like central in a good position so it's easy for them to come out. A lot of times when they're head down, they're off to the side or they're turned or twisted, okay? We want to encourage them to be in a better position, which means we have to address tightness and pain and discomfort throughout your pregnancy so that way baby can fit into a better position, because baby's going to sit where there's room, where it's comfortable for them, not like necessarily where you want them, right? So if you have a bunch of pain and tightness on one side, they're going to opt to sit where they can. So we want to take care of the pain and the discomfort. And then in doing that, that's where the Ultimate Momma Bundle comes into play. That is pregnancy pain relief within 2 weeks or less. Again, there's free labor coaching taking place in May, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So labor preparation is so important. These are some things that you're working for, is getting baby into a better position. Spinning babies has forward lean inversion, and it's amazing. Even if your baby's head down, doing it daily to encourage them into a better position and to reduce the stress on your round ligaments and hip flexors, so that way everything can relax and the baby can sit in a better position. It's a great tool to be able to have. Working on the pelvis mobility, we talked about how your pelvis can open at the top and in mid pelvis and the outlet. You want to practice doing these different movements and motions throughout your pregnancy, throughout your labor preparation. One of my favorite things is actually with this ball. I'll show you right now. Okay? One of my favorite things is child's pose is going to open the top of your pelvis. Okay? So it's knees out and feet together. Okay? And that's opening the top of your pelvis. So that's something that you can do, is just child pose. If you were to do the opposite, if you were to tap your feet to the outside, that's going to be opening up the bottom of your pelvis. Okay? So doing something like that while you're leaning on a ball can be really helpful and reduce pain, discomfort, prepare you for labor and birth. If you have any of the pain in the butt or going down your leg, any of that, that's one of the things that you can do to help support you, is by doing some of those. So a large baby doesn't necessarily mean you can't give birth vaginally. It doesn't mean that you necessarily, a big baby isn't the only reason why you should be induced. A big baby isn't reason enough to have a C-section. Ask the questions, ask for the research, go out and educate things on your own. Don't just take my word for it. There's so much information out there that will help steer you in the right direction. If you're like, there's too much and I feel overwhelmed, grab the Ultimate Momma Bundle down below. Join labor coaching in May of 26. You get it for free. And if you're like, it's after May when I'm watching this video, what am I supposed to do? That's okay. Join the Ultimate Momma Bundle. You have personalized support and help and resources every step of the way. Okay, labor coaching is weekly coaching calls where we hop on and we dive into everything labor, birth, dealing with contractions, how to prepare, birth plans, partner support, what to do postpartum, because we prepare for your baby being born with clothes and things like that and food. But how do we prepare your body and how do we prepare you to help yourself recover? So that way you can feel good and better and you can recover without the pain and the peeing yourself and wondering, is this normal? When am I going to feel like myself? How do I get rid of my ab separation? Like, my core feels so weak. What do I do? Like, all of those things. We're going to dive into all of that throughout the labor coaching to help support you so you can have a birth where you feel prepared and confident, where you can have a better experience. I just had a mama message me yesterday. She gave birth to a VBAC baby. Yesterday morning, her baby was born. It's like 6.5 hours of labor. She pushed for 12 minutes. Beautiful birth experience. Like, you can have that too. It's about your this is why birth prep and education matters so much. And there's not enough out there that there's not enough information on your pelvic floor and why it matters and how to improve your birth experience. And not even just that, your pregnancy. If you're dealing with that pregnancy pain right now, we've got to take care of that. So that way, it doesn't just go away. I hate to be the person that tells you it doesn't just go away, because it's not just because of your pregnancy and your pain. There's other videos on that here if you're wondering what the heck that I'm talking about. Take a look at some of the other videos. Make sure down below you hit subscribe so you can learn about your pelvic floor, pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and how to feel good even after your kids are growing and doing things on their own. You deserve to feel strong and comfortable in your body every step of the way. The Ultimate Momma Bundle is linked below. Make sure you grab it. Join labor coaching. Super excited for this group of moms. It is it's capped. There's only a certain amount of moms I can accept, so make sure you get in there and join us, and so you can have a better experience too. Okay, you've got this. You can do this. I am sending you so much love, mama.